3 lifelong friends, 6 trusty balls, and endless NFL takes. Welcome to 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL podcast.
Cry, Eagles, cry on your way to misery. Welcome to episode 45 of 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and I'm here with my 2 usual co-hosts, Will and Avery. It's a great day. I'm having a great week because the Philadelphia Eagles are no longer in the playoffs, and the Philadelphia Eagles fans are the ones who are idiots, not me. The Philadelphia Eagles will not be in the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, Eagles fans. How you guys doing today?
Do you feel better now?
I feel great. I feel great.
Feels like you've been holding on to that for a while.
They've been calling me an idiot and a moron for saying that the Eagles wouldn't go back to the Super Bowl all season, the entire season. And they lose in the first round of the playoffs. It could not have gone any better. Just seeing the Eagles lose is fantastic. I could not be happier right now. Could not be happier. The wild card round is over, and we're going to move on to the divisional games today to break those down. But before we get started with today's episode, what we're going to do is I'm going to go over our fantasy rankings, continue our fantasy rankings, give ourselves our scores for our preseason fantasy rankings. And today we're doing wide receivers and tight ends. If you guys didn't listen last week, we did the quarterbacks and running backs. And so the current score is myself. I'm at 16 points, and Will and Avery are tied at 12. So today we're going to give ourselves the scores for the wide receivers and for the tight ends. And just so you guys know, they're all awful. They're all just bad. So, all right. So we'll get started with the wide receivers. So the actual top 10 wide receivers in fantasy football this year: 1, Puka Nacua; 2, JSN; 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown; 4, Jamar Chase; 5, George Pickens; 6, Chris Olave; 7, Zay Flowers; 8, Nico Collins; 9, Devontae Adams; and 10, Michael Wilson. Because everybody would have had him in the top 10, right? So Will's preseason top 10 go like this. So 1, Jamar Chase; 2, CeeDee Lamb; 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown; 4, Justin Jefferson; 5, Tyreek Hill; 6, Malik Neighbors;
Whoa.
7, Brian Thomas Jr., 8, A.J. Brown; 9, Drake London; and 10, Nico Collins. So Will had a total of 4 points because he had Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 3, and he was the actual third-ranked receiver, so he got 2 points there. And then he had Nico Collins in the top 10, so he got 4 points. So Avery's top 10, he had Jamar Chase at 1, 2, Justin Jefferson; 3, CeeDee Lamb; 4, Tyreek Hill; 5, Drake London; 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown; 7, Puka Nacua; 8, A.J. Brown; 9, Brian Thomas Jr., 10, Nico Collins. So Avery got 4 points as well to stay tied with Will because he had Jamar Chase, he had Amon-Ra St. Brown, he had Puka Nacua, and Nico Collins in the top 10. And then my top 10 was 1, Jamar Chase; 2, Justin Jefferson; 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown; 4, CeeDee Lamb; 5, Malik Neighbors; 6, Puka Nacua; 7, Brian Thomas Jr., 8, Drake London; 9, Nico Collins; 10, A.J. Brown. So I got a total of 5 points because I had Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra at 3, so I got 2 points there. I had Puka Nacua and Nico Collins. And then moving on to the tight end rankings, this is even worse. If you thought the wide receiver rankings were bad, this is even worse than the wide receivers.
Oh, cool.
So the actual top 10 tight ends for fantasy this year was 1, Trey McBride; 2, Kyle Pitts, because we all predicted that; 3, Travis Kelce; 4, Tyler Warren; 5, Jake Ferguson; 6, Harold Fannin Jr., 7, Dallas Goedert; 8, Juwan Johnson; 9, Hunter Henry; 10, Dalton Schultz. So Will's actual top 10 was Brock Bowers at 1, 2, George Kittle; 3, Sam Laporta; 4, Trey McBride; 5, TJ Hawkinson; 6, David Njoku; 7, Travis Kelce; 8, Tyler Warren; 9, Colston Loveland; and 10, Mark Andrews. So Will got a total of 3 points because he had Trey McBride, he had Travis Kelce, and Tyler Warren in his top 10. And then Avery's top 10 goes 1, Brock Bowers; 2, George Kittle; 3, Trey McBride; 4, Sam Laporta; 5, Mark Andrews; 6, Travis Kelce; 7, Evan Ingram; 8, Colston Loveland; 9, Tyler Warren; and 10, Chig Okonkwo. That one didn't turn out too great. But none of these did. None of these
No
did.
none of this
No
did, yeah.
regrets.
Yeah.
So Avery got a total of 3 points. And then my top 10 goes like this: 1, Brock Bowers; 2, Trey McBride; 3, George Kittle; 4, Travis Kelce; 5, TJ Hawkinson; 6, Sam Laporta; 7, Evan Ingram; 8, David Njoku; 9, Jake Ferguson; and 10, Zach Ertz. So I got a total of 4 points. So right now, the total score is myself with 25 points, and Will and Avery are still tied, but at 19 points this time. So going into the final round, there's a tiebreaker for second place between Will and Avery. And I'm sure Avery's kickers are going to put him over the top in the next round.
You mean under the basement? I went by names. I don't even think I looked at the rankings for those.
I'm sure that's going to be good when we do those next week. All right.
I will not be able to keep it together. I remember his kicker list. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to have to go on mute. There's just no way I can be professional as we read these names off. Except for Andres Borges.
The good news is that we're never professional on this podcast. So
that's for sure.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about some divisional round matchups for the NFL playoffs. And then after we do that, we'll break down some coaching positions, like which coaching position do you think is the best available? And then at the end, I don't think we're going to rank our top 5 coaches, but I think we'll just talk about some coaches that you guys think would be maybe the best fit for maybe certain teams. So to start off, we'll go ahead and break down some of these divisional round games. So we'll start with we'll just go in order. So we're going to start with Bills at Broncos. So Will, give us some thoughts on Bills and Broncos and let us know who you have winning this game.
Oh, you know what? In my brain, when you said we were going to break down these games, I was ready and mentally prepared to go over the round that just happened. So when you said Bills at Broncos, it threw my brain into an entire spiral. But anyway,
I was honestly thinking it too. I was like, wait, that game didn't happen. That's next
Bills
week.
at Broncos. Yeah. Bills didn't play Broncos. Bills played Jags. And I was ready to complain about the end of halftime thing there. I was ready for it.
I said divisional.
You think I know what the rounds of the NFL playoffs are called? You think I'm that kind of nerd? Anyway, look, this Broncos team, I will be legitimately the most shocked if this Broncos team comes away with a win over the Bills. If the Broncos win, and spoiler alert, I also see the Texans sneaking a win out over New England. I don't think.
Why don't you talk about the other 2 games too while you're at it?
Yeah, I will. Don't worry, we'll get there. I don't think New England played well. If it is the Broncos, their offense is bad, right, until the fourth quarter, and the Bills are just consistently chipping away at people. Look at the way they played the Patriots in the regular season the last time they played. Josh Allen put the whole team on his back, and I don't think this Broncos team has the capability to stop the run game of the Bills. I don't think the Broncos offense is good enough to win. They're not good enough to stand on their own and win a game like I think Josh Allen and James Cook are. I just don't see this going well for the Broncos. They're going to be just like the last time Dallas was the 1 seed. Actually, there's a lot of teams that get the first round bye, sit a week, and then just lose because they sat a week. Their opponent comes in playing a hard-fought game, and this game versus Jacksonville that Buffalo just played was a hard-fought game. I think Jacksonville was the only team that had a real shot to beat the Bills in the playoffs, and they didn't do it. It was close, but they didn't do it. And so, yeah, I don't see this going well for the Broncos.
Avery, what do you think? Do you agree?
Yeah, same thing. I think the Broncos are probably one of the more overrated 1 seeds I've ever seen. I think they get bailed out a lot by their defense, and I think the Bills win like purely because of Josh Allen. I think he's enough of a game changer where in the playoffs, in the moment, he could overcome this Broncos team. So I think the Bills take it.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Bills winning as well, mostly because of Josh Allen. He's the best quarterback in this game and in the playoffs. So I have the Bills winning also. What?
He's the best quarterback left in the playoffs?
You think Matthew Stafford? I know you.
Those are fighting words. for Will.
I know you think Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback because he's going to win MVP this year. But
That's a good reason
honestly,
to think
Will, do you think that Josh
that checks out.
Do you think that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than do you think that Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Josh Allen?
I think they are two separate style of quarterbacks, so it's hard to compare them as just straight quarterback to quarterback. But if I were going to go back in time and pick one of them, let's say they came out of college at the same time and pick one of them, I think I would pick the better ball thrower over the scrambler playmaker, because I want my quarterback to stand back there and throw the ball and let the playmakers do the thing. There's too much injury and too much risk. I mean, Josh Allen took shot after shot in this Jacksonville game. He got beat up. And it's because he has to run the ball so much because they don't have the team around him. Whereas Matthew Stafford had the chance to run for a first down in their divisional game, chose to throw it, and it was an incomplete pass. He is the last guy that's going to be out there running the football. Now, it could be because he's getting up there in age, whatever, but I do think as a pure ball thrower quarterback, Matthew Stafford is better than Josh Allen.
As a pure thrower, yes. I stand by what I said, though. I think Josh Allen is a better overall quarterback than Matthew Stafford. I'm not saying Matthew Stafford's bad, because he's great.
He's calling him old, dude.
If you put Josh Allen on the Rams,
that's fine.
Put Josh Allen on the Rams and tell me what you think would happen. Would the Rams be better or worse?
They would be more dynamic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is why Rams win the Super Bowl this year. They trade their 2-1s and either get Justin Herbert, who doesn't want to play for another offensive coordinator, whatever the heck they got going on in L.A., or for Joe Burrow, and then we have a whole new offense. Hey, let's do it.
What about Shador?
You only need to trade
for Shador. Two ones.
You only need to trade a fifth rounder for that. Anyways, the way I see this Bills and Broncos game is very similar to how I saw the Bills and Jaguars game, because the Bills have the best rushing offense in the league. The Broncos have the second best run defense in the league. But last week they played the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had the best rushing defense in the league. And although they didn't do super great on the ground, they still found a way to beat that defense. And so I'm taking the better quarterback in this game. I'm taking Josh Allen. So moving on to 49ers at Seahawks. So these two teams are 1-1 against each other this season. Neither team has scored more than 17 points in either matchup. So Avery, who do you think's winning this game?
I don't like saying this, but I think the Niners are going to take this. I don't like that, but I'm not going off what I want. I'm going off what I think is going to happen.
Why do you think they're going to beat them? Just a feeling?
Vibes, dude. I've got a vibe about the whole playoff. I would already put down what I think is going to happen based off.
Will you share it with us?
Vibes. Yeah, I'll do it real quick. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 49ers beat the Seahawks. Rams beat the Bears. Patriots beat the Texans. Patriots beat the Bills. Rams beat the Niners. And Patriots beat the Rams to win the Super Bowl. Clip it.
Patriots?
Ew.
Yeah. I'm not going off what I want. I'm going off what I think is going to happen. I could have said Oregon's going to get their cheeks clapped by Indiana. Like, I knew that was going to happen, but I had hope and faith, misplaced faith that it wasn't going to happen. But destiny arrives all the same. So with Miami, I wonder, is Cristobal just watching, just being like, let's get this over with. You know, like, I don't even know. It doesn't even look like they have a shot. If Miami wins that game, I know I've drifted a little bit. If Miami beats Indiana, like, everyone will be so shocked and confused. They'll be like, what happened? Like, this looked like a formality. Like, I've seen online little sketches of, like, Indiana coming in as some big bad bully and all the other Alabama, Oregon, and Miami being like, And it's like, yeah, I mean, kind of. No one else has even, like, kind of showed up in that game. Anyway, yeah, I think Patriots take it. But
all right, Will, what do you think about this 49ers-Seahawks game? Who's taking it?
Oh, I'm actually going to give the nod to the Seahawks here. The 49ers are so beat up, offensively and defensively. There were thoughts that Fred Warner might be coming back this week. They designated him to return from practice. for next week, not for this week. So in hopes that they win this week, he's able to come back for the game next week. I actually don't think it moves the needle that much. Fred Warner, very good player. Probably the best linebacker in the game right now when he's healthy and able to play. But being gone for the whole year, not that there's really a consistent defense on the Niners to mesh with. He would be out of sync with that team. Bob Saleh, we'll talk about this later, but he's got the 49ers defense buzzing and has earned himself chances to get back into head coaching from that. But I think that I think that the Seattle wins this one at home in front of their fans. I think that the atmosphere, the crowd, I don't think it'll be pretty. I think it's gonna be a really ugly game, real low scoring, like 13-10 Seattle win. I think the defensive line for the Seahawks will get to Brock Purdy. He, when he's off his spot, has not been very good. And I know that's going to get so much crap. People are, no, don't you look at these two stats right here. Yeah, okay, cool. But I just think that you get him off his spot, he's not going to do as well as you want him to. Kittle's gone. So Seattle has one less person that they have to really worry about. I just think that the Seahawks defense is tuned up too well, and they will make up. I think Sam Darnold probably throws 2 interceptions, maybe 3 interceptions. It's a bad game for Darnold, but the defense makes up for it.
Okay. Yeah, I know you mentioned that the 49ers are beat up specifically on defense, but I'm more worried about the offense for the 49ers in this game. Last time, the 49ers offense couldn't do anything. They scored 3 points. But as I mentioned, neither team has scored more than 17 points in their 2 meetings so far this year. So I fully expect the 49ers and Seahawks game to be another low-scoring game. It's a tough divisional matchup. I'm taking the Seahawks in this one because of their defense, but I do expect it to be a very close game. The 49ers are going to fight to stay in it like they've done all season long, despite all the injuries. But I am still taking the Seahawks because I just think that their defense is significantly better. Just all season long, they've proved that they are either the second best or best defense, in my opinion. And so I'm taking the Seahawks because of their defense in this game. Let's move on to Texans at Patriots. Will, what do you think? Who's winning this game?
I like the Texans to upset the Patriots here.
I do too.
I don't think that Drake May played very well against the Chargers. I know the score may say, well, yeah, but they beat them by 13 points. Sure. They only scored 1 offensive touchdown, and it was at the very end of the game. Hunter Henry, how much time was left in the game when that happened? 9:45 left in the fourth quarter. The game was already over. That Chargers offense could do nothing. That was basically the nail in the coffin. Put it to 2 scores, although the Chargers didn't have them to score a touchdown anyway. I think this Houston Texans defense, who scored 2 touchdowns by themselves last week, they scored almost as many points as the Patriots did last week, just the Texans defense. I think this is going to be another. I think we got very lucky in the wild card round of the playoffs because this divisional round is going to be a slog. It's going to be ugly game after ugly game. There are 6 teams remaining, right? That's how the math works. 3 games? Nope. 4, yeah, no, 8 teams remaining. I can do math, guys. 8 teams remaining, and 6 of these 8 are built on defense, and the other 2 are the Rams and Bears. And the Bears have a very good defense, high turnover ratio, but if they're not getting turnovers, they're not that good otherwise. And so Bills-Broncos, Bills have kind of lived off their defense and Josh Allen. Niners-Seahawks, 2 defensive teams. Texans-Patriots, say what you want, but this Patriots defense, very good over this season. Texans, best defense in the league. So we're going to see some real ugly games in the second round. And I think this Patriots-Texans game is going to be real ugly. Up there in Foxborough, it's cold. I just don't think that the Patriots have it in them to hang on. I think the Texans defense will outlast the Patriots offense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Texans are going to win this game because of their defense. If you look at what the Texans just did to the Steelers, I know the Patriots are a better team than the Steelers overall, and Drake May is a lot more mobile than Aaron Rodgers, but that Texans defense is scary. I'm worried about the Patriots offensive line in this game, though, versus that Texans defense, because the Patriots allowed 48 sacks during the regular season, which is 7th most in the league. In the wildcard game against the Chargers, they allowed 5 sacks. There was pressure on Drake May. The Chargers defense made it tough for the Patriots offense. So not only do the Texans have a great pass rush, but their secondary is better than the Chargers secondary. If the Patriots don't find a way to limit pressure on Drake May, the Texans are going to win this game. They have to find a way to limit that pressure on Drake May. And if they don't, then I don't see a way where the Patriots are going to win this game if that happens. So, Avery, what do you think? I know you have the Patriots winning because you have the Patriots going to the Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
give us some thoughts.
Spoiler.
I just think, there's times where, you'll see, like what Will was saying, Drake May taking on the Chargers, and he didn't look that great, but, the Texans have a great defense, but I think I've just seen too many teams play to the strength of the other team, meaning as an example, I've seen some Oregon games where you got this, you only beat this team by 3 scores, and then they'll play a really good team and they'll beat them by 4, and it was okay, I feel like you guys just matched the energy with who you were playing, and so I just think they're going to be able to find their way to edge this out. My whole thing with these predictions has very little to do with how they've done in the past, or even necessarily home field advantage. I feel like these games are almost always near a coin toss, as far as who could win. I mean, this isn't Seahawks versus the Raiders or something. It's dude, it's the playoffs. This stuff happened. Any team can win, especially at this level. But I just think the Patriots will edge it out. I think them being at home helps. I didn't think the Seahawks being at home helps. I just think the Niners are going to beat them. I just don't see the Seahawks making it past. I don't know why. But yeah, but I'm confident in this. I'm confident. So for any people on TikTok that are watching this, go ahead and call me out, and then, I'll take my lashings if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, bend over.
Avery, something funny with that is I posted, it was yesterday before the game, the Steelers and Texans game. I posted you saying that the Steelers reminded you of the movie Semi-Pro. And how they were we will win 4th place. And then Steelers fans were commenting I'm keeping receipts. And after the game, I commented back and I said, I don't think you're going to need those anymore.
So they did get 4th place.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I love it. I love the internet. It's so good. Internet's undefeated.
Awesome. It's awesome. All right, let's move on to the final game here. This is the game of the divisional round. Not just because Will is a Rams fan, but because Will also hates the Bears. So
I know. I've had this thought.
Will, I'm going to ask you to hold your Bears hate in for a second here. I'm going to have myself and Avery go first on this one. Avery, why don't you start us off here? I know you already said you're a winner, but give us some thoughts on this game.
I'll be honest. Part of the vibes comes directly from Will. I like the Rams, and I really don't like the Bears. And the thing is it's not even before it would have been I think you're a joke kind of thing for the Bears, but now it's okay, you're in the divisional round. You're not a joke. I think you are funny. I think there are jokes in the organization, but you're the number 2 seed. I still think you're going to lose, though. I think the Rams will play it much better than LaFleur, who just played not to lose the last.
Made me so mad. That dude made me so mad.
40% of the game was I was so we're just hoping the Bears don't bother to score the last quarter. That's the game plan. We're just thinking maybe they think the game's over and we'll all just run the clock out. I remember watching that Seahawks-Panthers playoff game back when I think it was the year the Panthers went to the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks were there, and the Seahawks just played not to lose, and they lost. Anyway, I think the Rams will beat them. I don't think they'll give Caleb Williams an opening like Joel mentioned last time. Just giving him that opportunity at the end just isn't a great idea, and I think the Rams will be able to close it out.
Okay. So for this game, much like I did with the Packers and Bears, for this game I did 1 key for the Rams and 1 key for the Bears going into this game. So 1 key for the Rams. learn from the Packers' mistakes and don't take your foot off the gas. If the Rams get out to an early lead, they have to keep going. They cannot take their foot off the gas in this game. Learn from the mistakes that the Packers made, which I don't think they would do anyway because Sean McVay is a better coach than LaFleur. But learn from what the Packers did against the Bears and keep your foot on the gas. You do not want to have another, Caleb Williams comeback opportunity in this game. So just keep your foot on the gas. The key for the Bears, if the Bears want to win this game, they have to get off to a faster start on offense. They cannot get off to a slow start in this game because in their last 4 games, the Bears have been down going into the fourth quarter every single time. They're 2-2 in those games. Yes, they've been able to complete some comebacks, but there's also 2 games where they haven't been able to. So overall this year, the Bears are 5-5 when they're losing entering the fourth quarter. The teams that they've beaten, the Packers twice, the Giants, Commanders, and Raiders. The teams that they've lost to, the Packers, Ravens, Lions twice, and 49ers. I don't think that the Bears can go into the fourth quarter down 21-7 in this game or down 24-7 or whatever it is. They have to start faster. The Bears cannot get off to a slow start in this game because if they do, the Rams are not going to let them back in the game. I'm not saying Caleb Williams can't bring them back because we've seen him do it a bunch of times, but I am saying that it's going to be a lot harder to do against the Rams than it is against the Packers. As I mentioned before, Sean McVay is a better coach than Matt LaFleur, and this is against probable MVP Matthew Stafford. It's against one of the best coaches in the NFL, if not the best coach in the NFL. It's against Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. This is not the Green Bay Packers. You cannot let yourself go into the fourth quarter being behind, because if you do, I don't think you're going to win this game. The Bears have to start fast if they want to win, and they have to keep it going throughout the entire game if they want a shot to beat the Rams here. All right, Will, give us all your Bears hate.
I think that the Bears have a fair shot. I think they're a good team. I think that the Bears might actually. No, the Bears fucking suck. Pardon my language. Sorry, Dwayne. I had to drop the hard one on this one.
That's a double sorry right there.
We have to put an explicit thing on the podcast now.
We do anyway. And I tried to hold it in, and I just couldn't. Listen, Caleb Williams went 50% completion percentage through 2 picks, but he did have 2 touchdowns. So they threw the ball 48 times, and he only completed 24 of them. Now I know what's going to be said. Well, Matthew Stafford only completed 24 passes. Sure, he threw for 42 of them. He also sprained his index finger in the game, stayed in, and it had a visible effect, an absolutely visible effect on the way that game went. I just don't think so. It was Devontae's first game back. They had defensive pieces, one of their secondary pieces, last name Lay, can't remember the first name. His first game back.
Quentin?
Quentin, right?
I thought you were a Rams fan, Will. Come on.
Yeah, well, first year. Tell me some slack. I'm new to this. Thank you. I appreciate the head down. I just think it's their first game back. As I said about Fred Warner, they've had one game under their belt to try to mesh together. I just don't think it's going to be the same thing. I also think that just kind of like everyone, me included, well, not really, kind of me included, no one really took the Panthers seriously. Oh, well, the Panthers are cute. Rams are going to win. And so they kind of went in with that mindset. Like, okay, we're just going to kind of win. And then the Panthers went, hold on, we made the playoffs. We're here to play football. And kind of just like, would like to be noted, exactly as I said happened, the Rams secondary is bad. It's going to come down to it, and then the playoff experience is going to play into fact here. I think we're going to be in the same way. Although I think the Panthers did a better job scheming for Bryce Young, who wants to stay in the pocket and throw the ball more. Then I think, not that Ben Johnson doesn't scheme well for Caleb Williams, I just think Caleb Williams plays more scared. I think that as soon as that defensive line for the Rams gets in, Caleb starts scrambling around, and when he starts to scramble around, he did make that one very beautiful throw on 4th down. But the amount of throws you can go watch where he's just scrambling around and throws a completely inaccurate ball is very high. And so they're going to keep the pressure on him. Nate Landman, Poona Ford, Byron Young, the other boys down in the middle there, Turner, Ford, Young, Jared Verse. How did I forget Jared Verse? It doesn't matter. We're moving on. I think they're going to keep the pressure on him. As we saw, he's grown a lot with Colston Loveland. And so if you take away their safety blanket, they get a lot less comfortable. I don't like the Bears' chances in this, but I also could definitely see them winning because as we saw, you know, them hang around, Caleb Williams will make it happen. And the Rams don't have a good enough defense. Yeah, the Rams don't have a good enough defense to not let it happen. They have to stay foot on the gas, start hot, just like they started hot in the Panthers game, but they have to stay on it the whole game. They can't let Matt Stafford get a sprained finger. Tests were negative, not broken, by the way.
That's good. That's good.
That is good. Very good.
All right. Do you guys got anything else to add about the divisional round?
I'd just like to reiterate, if you're expecting the same level of football that we got in the wild card round, you probably should dial it back. I mean, the record was set for lead changes in the fourth quarter for the whole playoffs in the first round. I think we're going to get a lot more games like the Patriots, Chargers, and the Texans, Steelers. They're going to be slow and methodical field goal games. I mean, how many of the Patriots Super Bowls were won by an Adam Vinatieri field goal? Like you're just
like all of them.
You're just hoping for the end. You got two great teams playing each other. At this point, we've got 8 great teams left in the league or in the race here, and everybody wants to win. And this is where defense really steps it up, hopefully. And so, if you're expecting fun shootouts, you've come to the wrong place. That's the college football playoffs.
Wait, Will, did you just call the Bears a great team?
I mean, they made it to the divisional round of the playoff. They're better than your team. What did I say? Huh? What was that?
You know what's funny is on social media, but like, for example, again, with Avery's post about the Steelers, everybody was like, oh, they're better than your Bucks. They're better than your Bucks. They say that like the team that you're a fan of either qualifies you or disqualifies you to talk about NFL.
I know.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Anyway, let's talk about some head coaching positions. So right now, there are 9 head coaching jobs available. There was 8, but Mike Tomlin decided to step down as the Steelers head coach finally. And so now there are 9 open head coaching jobs. And so we're going to rank these. Do you guys want to go from 1 to 9 or do you want to go 9 to 1?
9 to 1.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's go
Browns.
9 to...
I disagree, actually.
I do too.
Are you going to put the Raiders?
Let's start with Avery. And we'll just go in a loop. So we'll go Avery, Will, and then myself, and then we'll just keep going.
Browns.
Why the Browns?
I mean, to that, I would say anyone who questions that, give me one reason why they should not be the lowest on here. And then I will consider moving them up a spot or 2.
Because
But
the
to
Tennessee
me-
Titans are on here.
No. I would much rather be with the Titans. Titans are coming up. Titans are coming up. They're getting a new stadium in like 2 seasons. They're getting a little bit more
Doesn't mean
cash.
anything.
I think. Ooh, they're gonna be hot commodity. They get another Vrabel again, and don't fire him this time. They're gonna be close to mediocre, which is more than I can say about the Browns.
The Titans have a quarterback who threw less touchdown passes than games played.
The Browns have more quarterbacks than the.
They also have an elite defense.
Where were they in the playoffs again? Yeah, it's the Browns. Oh my God. Every time I hear about them, it sounds like Real Housewives of the Browns. It's just like, what's going on now? Who's making a fuss now? Baker Mayfield acted like he got out of the last chopper out of Nam. Like it sounds like it's just like the Jets sounds bad. The Raiders are just bad, but the Browns sounds like it's like, no, this will suck your soul. Like like if you're a coach, if I was a head coach and I could go to the Browns, like I'm gonna be a meme. If I don't win at least half the games, I'm gonna be a meme. If I go to the Titans, at least I'm gonna be in like the background. If I go to the Jets, at least no one's gonna expect me to do good. But the Browns just at least there's Myles Garrett. That's like the one thing. And I don't even know how much longer he's going to be able to take it. I think it's just because he's got his own little kingdom and he's like, look, I just show up to work. I collect my massive paycheck and I go back home and I watch anime with my wife. Like, that's all I do. I don't get involved in anything else.
Ugh. Okay. All right, Will. which head coaching position do you think is the worst?
My worst head coach job has got to be the Las Vegas Raiders. It's got to be. You have the number 1 pick this year, and it's not going to help. You're going to take Mendoza most likely, and that's not even your problem. You traded away Jacoby Myers. You only have Brock Bowers. You've got Ashton Genty, but you don't have an offensive line. You cannot protect anybody back there. You have 1 pick. You're going to pick a quarterback. It's not going to fix a darn thing. People come to Las Vegas. They get distracted by the city, by the lights, by the everything. It's a very transient town. Las Vegas is the worst. It is just a bad situation, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. Your stadium is always full, and that's great. You got a new one, that's great. But it's full of people who are in Vegas, and, oh, while we're here, let's see a game. Just like the 3 of us did. Oh, hey, while we're there, let's see a game. You don't have... And let me tell you, they were loud in there, I'm sure. But I just... This team, you've got Max Crosby, who... I mean, you put him on IR, and then the very next day, he puts an Instagram video out of him jumping on a trampoline, shooting basketballs, proving I'm not actually injured. These guys are just messing with you. I just don't think this Raiders team it's in a bad way, and it's not going to get better anytime soon.
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans, obviously. I think their offensive line sucks. Their wide receivers can't catch. You have a quarterback who threw less touchdown passes than he played in games. I don't think Cam Ward is very good. I don't think he was very good going into the draft. Jackson Dart is clearly better. When I think of the Titans, I think of, like, if you think of all the teams and, like, good players, I can think of one actually good player on that roster. Jeffrey Simmons on defense. And that's it. Like, nobody else comes to mind. I think their roster just overall is just bad. So I went with the Tennessee Titans. All right. Number 8, Avery, who you got at number 8?
I got the Raiders. A big reason, it feels like after having been there with you guys, it feels like playing at a bowl game. Like if you're playing anyone with a decent fan base, it's an away game for you. And it just feels like, I don't know. Being there, it did not feel, it just felt like, oh yeah, we're from Vegas and that's cool that we got a team. We're going to support the team. Then they play Kansas City and it's like, oh, is this Arrowhead new stadium? Like, I mean, even the Jags had a lot of fans, and that was before anyone realized they were good this season.
True.
it just doesn't seem like they're really on the precipice of anything great. And history and the curse that my science teacher sophomore year told me about, which I believe because I was young and impressionable back then. I just don't think
impressionable now.
Yeah, like having heard that, I'm like, yeah, that is not a good job to take if you want to win.
What is this curse for the rest of us that don't know what you're talking about?
He was saying like him and his like grandma were fans or something, and like his grandma said something, or I don't even remember. All I remember was that he had one of those smart boards, and while he was not knowing how to use it because it was the first year and he's trying to figure out, and there's those 4 different colored pens that aren't really pens, and he's like, this reminds me like the Raiders are cursed, like something happened and they've never like won a Super Bowl or gone to the playoffs since, and that's just going to keep going. So, and he like told us, he's like, if anyone asks you, the Raiders are bad and like they're cursed.
I remember that. I don't remember the whole story, but I do remember.
I don't even remember the teacher's name. I remember what he looked like ish, but like I remember that and it stuck with me. And that tells me vibes, not a good job. And it hasn't been a good job. So he's been right since 2008. So yeah.
All right. Will, who you got at number 8?
I mean, the Cleveland Browns. If I'm not picking the Browns,
so they're not
the
9, worst, but they're the second worst.
Yeah, if I'm not picking the Browns at 9, I'm picking the Browns at 8. This job sucks. Nobody wants to play for Cleveland. I think a big piece here is the city too. At least Las Vegas is a destination city. Tennessee, Miami, Baltimore, Atlanta, New York Giants, even Pittsburgh's a football town. Arizona, people want to go there because the sun's out. Cleveland just sucks. It's not even the best team in Ohio. Like like Ohio, if you're going to be a fan of a team there, you're going to pick the Buckeyes. Yeah, you got the Bengals, you got the Browns, cool, but like you're going to pick a team that's going to keep winning. There are lots of Browns fans and lots of diehard Browns fans, and they're out there week after week supporting that team. I just don't think it's a good job. They've got pick 6 this year, and then they've got Jacksonville's pick at pick 24. So they've got a couple first round picks this year. So at least you're stepping into maybe a little bit more help. But as we've seen in the past, you're pretty much stuck with playing Shedeur Sanders or you're going to get fired, all like Kevin Stefanski. So good luck. Just kind of how that goes. Good luck.
All right. At number 8, I've got the Las Vegas Raiders. I couldn't bring myself to put them any higher than this because Mark Davis's haircut is just so bad. I don't understand why you would want to go there and look at that haircut every single day. So I know you have the number 1 overall pick, which is probably Fernando Mendoza. You have Brock Bowers. You have Ashton Genty, but you don't have an offensive line. And if you pick Fernando Mendoza without an offensive line, he's going to get absolutely murdered. I just think it's a terrible job, and Max Crosby may or may not be there, but you got to focus on building that offense because you're probably drafting Mendoza. You have to build the offensive line, which allowed the most sacks in the NFL this year. But ultimately, why would you want to look at Mark Davis' haircut every single day? Like, why would you want to do that? Also, why would you want to coach in the same division as the Broncos and the Chargers and the Chiefs? I know the Chiefs weren't good this year, but it's Patrick Mahomes is still going to be there for a while. So I don't think you would want to coach in that division. All right, Avery, who you got as the number 7?
I got the Titans. I mean, I still don't think it's a great job, but I know it's better than the Raiders and the Browns. I wasn't trying to like hype it up, but it is. I do think it's better than. I don't think it's the bottom.
All right, Will, what about you?
I also have the Titans, and it's for some of the things that Avery said. They're getting a new stadium. They are. They're perpetually bad, sure, but they're not. They weren't that bad in recent history. Just get the right coach back in there. I think there's going to be a lot of available quarterbacks. Tua probably going to be available. Kyler Murray probably going to be available. Malik Davis actually available after this year. So, like, you've got some guys.
Malik Willis.
Yes, Malik Willis, excuse me. Who the heck is Malik Davis?
Somebody.
No. Somebody. My bad.
He's watching. He's watching right now, and he was like,
didn't mean to out you like that.
I actually think he either was or is a running back for the Cowboys.
That checks out. Just burned into my brain. Anyway, Malik Willis will be available. And so there are pieces you can bring in. You've got a couple good, a good young wide receiver.
Yeah, he was a running back for the Cowboys. He just pulled that out of his like subconscious.
Yeah, I get. You've got pick 4, which could be better, but could definitely be worse too. So I don't know. I think Tennessee could be a worse job, but it's not. They need to get like a foundational guy in there though, and like somebody who's actually going to build their own culture, not just, all right, well, I'm just going to kind of be here. They need honestly like a Harbaugh CEO type or like a Vrabel CEO type, Dan Campbell, who doesn't have to call the plays. This is my culture, my team. You're going to do it my way or get out. Like
they had
Dan
that,
Campbell.
They let him go, so.
Yeah. Get Dan Campbell back in the building. That'll help.
All right, at number 7, I've got the Miami Dolphins. And the reason I have the Dolphins is because why would you want to play in the same division as Josh Allen and Drake May? Why would you want to do that? Also, you have Tua's massive contract that they just recently gave him. So you either ride it out with Tua or you have to deal with the impact of letting him go with that massive contract. I just think this whole roster needs to be completely reset. In my opinion, just trade everyone, get as many draft picks as you can, just reset the whole thing. I think they need a lot more than just a coach. I think it's going to take a lot more than just bringing in a new coach, because I think that whole situation is just a disaster, and their ownership just doesn't really seem to be aware of how to run an NFL team properly. So I know, you could make the case for another team here, but I just think it's the Dolphins just because I wouldn't want to coach in the same division as 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. All right, Avery, who you got at 6?
I got the Cardinals. I think I will say, because it kind of it explains my pick. I've got the Dolphins at 5, but I think the Dolphins edge out the Cardinals a little bit. I kind of agree with what you're saying. I think the Tua contract is an issue. However, I think they've got a lot of weapons there, and I think at first I was thinking, like, okay, I think if anyone should be able to get this offense running, it would be Mike McDaniels, but I think they still have enough pieces there, and I think if you had someone who was competent going in there, I think within a year they could turn it around to at least a playoff contender. Plus, it's in Miami. I just think that, I mean, just as far as jobs go, I think that would be better than the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals have got some other issues too, but I think the Cardinals might even have better potential on their roster than the Dolphins right now, even though it looks like a mess. But I still got the Cardinals at 6.
All right, Will?
I have the Miami Dolphins at 6. For all the same reasons we've already talked about. It's not a great division. It's easy to get distracted down to Miami, although it is a good destination. I just don't really. They've got good history, good culture down there. Well, they had good history and good culture down there a long time ago, and they're trying to bring it back. It's going to take a strong coach who's willing to rein in his players because, again, Miami's nightlife is distracting. People get in trouble down there. And so maybe that's a draw towards players. Older players like to retire in warmer places. That's why you saw, for instance, just picking one out of nowhere, J.J. Watt went to Arizona after Houston, right? He didn't go somewhere else. He went to Arizona. And so that's the warmer climate will draw in the older players. You do have a quarterback on a giant contract and basically no one else. Tyreek Hill can't seem to stay healthy. You've got Devon Achane, so you have a decent team you're stepping into. There's just a lot of distractions down there, and I don't think it's great.
Right. At number 6, I've got the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals' job is very attractive at all because why would you want to coach in the NFC West? Why would you want to do that? That division is stacked right now. It's a very tough division to coach in. And there's just, with how good those 3 teams are, I just don't think that's a very attractive position for you to be, especially when you don't have a legitimate quarterback. I think Jacoby Brissett is a baller, but I don't think he's going to get you into the playoffs in that division, especially with the team that you have right now, especially when you have to play the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. I just don't see a way where you're going to make the playoffs. And maybe, probably you're going to get a little bit more time to build up that roster. But how are you going to do that when you can't figure out what you're doing at quarterback? And how long is it going to take you to figure out what you're doing at quarterback? Because these other 3 teams in the division have that figured out. They have that figured out. I don't know what the Rams are doing with Stafford. I don't know what Stafford's doing. But for now, since I don't know, I'll just say they have their quarterback situation figured out long term. And the Cardinals do not. So you've got Trey McBride on offense, but honestly, with the way things have been going in Arizona, I think there's a good chance that they end up trading him, whether he requests a trade or they just trade him to get more picks and reset the roster. I think there's a good chance of that, but I don't think the Cardinals' job is very attractive at all, mostly because you're in the NFC West. All right, number 5. Who you got at number 5, Avery?
The Dolphins. We just got those swapped for the same reasons. I honestly, I feel like the Dolphins and Cardinals are kind of the same type of position. I think those could have gone either way, 6 or 5 or 6. I do agree with what Will said. I do think as a pro and as a NFL player, I think being in Miami might be a little bit of a temptation. I mean, I remember just that little video of Tyreek Hill on his, I can't remember if he got in an accident or something. It was some altercation outside of the stadium or something, like with the cops.
Oh yeah, he got pulled over. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that was just one, that's an anecdote, but I do think that could be an issue, but I just think the Dolphins' job, I think it just has more of a spotlight on it. And I think that, I mean, you could see it as winning, but also I think a lot of coaches, I mean, it comes down to your exposure. It's all about you're always interviewing for your next job. And I think that Dolphins position is just edges out the Cardinals.
All right, Will, who you got?
I lost my list, and now I have to figure out who I have and have not said. Got it. We are at number 6, correct?
Number 5.
Yeah. Number 5. Great. Perfect. Then I'm right on track. I've actually got the New York Giants here. Man, I just like the other teams better. I think that's where it comes down to, is that the Giants are lucrative. You got a young team, you got a young quarterback who seems to be okay. The problem is everybody gets hurt on that team. Everyone gets hurt on that team, right? You lost your best receiver, gone. Your star running back who emerged this year, gone. Surprised Jackson Dart didn't get hurt the way he was taking hits.
Well, he did have like 20 concussions.
Bingo. We're supposed to have some all-star great defensive line. Didn't pan out, and things just didn't seem to work out for the Giants, and it's kind of been that way since Eli Manning left. Things just haven't quite worked out. Even with Eli Manning, he finished with an exact 500 win-loss record for his career. It was like 271 and 271 or something like that. Somebody will fact check that. I don't really care. It was exactly 500 though. He won the exact same amount. So things, he did win 2 Super Bowls. You got 2 semi-recent Super Bowls there, which is great, and you're trying to get back to that. I just don't think this job in New York is as lucrative as you want. You got the number 5 pick this year. You're sharing a stadium, which is fine, whatever, who cares? You're also lying about it because your name is the New York Giants. Your stadium's in New Jersey. Let's be real about it, please. I just don't think this Giants job is near as tasty as people think. You're playing in the NFC East, as Joe likes to point out, to where it is a bit softer. The Eagles have run the division for a while, and it seems as if the Cowboys can get healthy next year, that they should be poised to have a pretty good year.
Okay. And number 5, this is where I've got the Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns' job is actually a lot more attractive than people think it is, because whoever is the coach, you already have a great defense. You've got Myles Garrett, you've got Carson Schlesinger, you've got some really good pieces on defense, so you already have that side of the ball established. You do need to figure out what you're doing on offense, but you do have some good pieces there as well. You've got some good young running backs. You've got Harold Finn Jr., who had a really good season in his rookie year. You just need to figure out what you're doing at quarterback. There's a couple other positions too, but mostly at quarterback. But at least you already have one side of the ball fully established. And I think the AFC North is in limbo a little bit right now because the Ravens don't have a coach. The Steelers don't have a coach. The Bengals suck. Their defense is terrible. You don't know if Joe Burrow is actually going to be there. So right now, I think the Browns is a lot more attractive because the division is in limbo. None of the teams are particularly good, and it's a good opportunity to come in to a division where there's going to be a lot of changes, and you can do your thing with your team and potentially win the division. I'm not saying the Browns are going to, but there's a lot of opportunity there, specifically because you have an elite defense. You already have an elite team on one side of the ball. So just come in, figure out the other side. And I think all you have to do is just have a mediocre offense and you can win games. You don't have to have a good offense. You just have to have a mediocre offense and you can win games because you already have an elite defense. So that's why I have the Browns at 5. All right, number 4. Who you got, Avery?
I got the Falcons. I think the Falcons are just one good coach away from piecing it all together. I don't mean that their previous coaches weren't good, but I mean like the right coach. I feel like the Falcons are always on the precipice of being a good team. They rarely just have garbage players. They've always got good pieces. Maybe not the best. I feel like they're usually just like barely above average, but like they just constantly fall short. And I just feel like there's just, if you just have the right guy there to put the pieces together, I feel like they could be really good. So I like that position. I feel like that job in particular just has enough potential to elevate you. So I think Falcons are full.
All right. Who you got, Will?
I also have the Falcons at number 4. I like the roster. I like the area. I think everybody was, well, maybe not everybody. I was a bit shocked that they fired their head coach. Winning 4 straight games in the season. I don't think it was now fair. Who cares, right? You don't have a first-round pick this year. You gave it to the Rams. But again, you finished the season at 8-9 last year. 8-9 last year. And on a 4-game win streak. So obviously your culture was hitting, your pieces were meshing together, and so you're stepping into a team that is able to win. And so it's just a few pieces here and there, bringing a couple of veterans. I like this Atlanta team. I'm surprised they're on the head coaching search.
All right. At number 4, I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they have a decent team, but it's an older team. You have no quarterback because Aaron Rodgers is probably going to retire.
Will
yes,
Howard.
Will, I know Will Howard is there. Yes, I know. He has no
Jeepers,
experience
you're
as a
just
starting
murdering
quarterback.
me today.
You don't know what you're doing at quarterback. You're going to have a later draft pick because they made the playoffs. And I just think that, a lot of these guys on defense, like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, like they're getting up there in age. I know they're still good players, but they're getting up there. They're a little bit older of a team. So yes, they do have more experience, but I don't understand why the Steelers haven't figured out what their long-term plan is at quarterback. And maybe that's the reason that Tomlin decided to step down, because he didn't know how to do that. But I just think that this team it's an attractive place to go because it's the Steelers, but it's not as attractive as some might think because that team is a little bit older. And so I think you're going to be, you don't have necessarily a long-term plan in place. All right, number 3. Who you got, Avery?
Got the Ravens at 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little surprise. I think the Ravens have the best team currently. I think that if for any coach to jump in there, I think they have the pieces there. Sounded like there was some issue between Harbaugh and Jackson. Not really sure what that was, or if that's just simply like maybe that is the organization being like, hey, we gotta, let you go. Our quarterback doesn't like you. But with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, I think that you've got a great chance to do a lot there. So you got him at 3.
Okay, what about you, Will?
This is where I have the Arizona Cardinals at number 3. I think you have a team that's, they were right there in every single game. They lost. They were kind of the opposite of the Broncos this year. They put up a lot of points. They just couldn't stop anybody from putting up points. They let up. I don't know what their point margin differential is, but it's got to be one of the worst in the league. You've got an offense that's ready to win. The emerging star Michael Wilson. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr. You've got Trey McBride. You've got a rotating core of running backs. Take your third pick. Either trade it, get a good quarterback in that's a veteran that's ready to lead the team. I don't think I almost said that they could keep Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's not your answer. You saw it clearly. You need a quarterback who can actually see over the offensive lineman. Get one of these guys. Maybe you get Malik Willis in there and let him lead your team. I don't think he's a step up from Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a sidestep from Jacoby Brissett. Keep Jacoby, for that matter. Just bolster that defense. It was shown time and time again that Jacoby can sling the ball 60 times a game. He's good at it. He did it well. They just didn't have a defense that could stop anything. It was like a sieve with diarrhea. Everything was getting through. So, bolster that defense up. I do think you're right. They're in probably the toughest division of all these teams, NFC West, being that 3 of the 4 teams are in the divisional round of the playoffs, and the other team is the Cardinals picking at number 3. So you will have a tough road uphill. But if you hire the right people, the Cardinals played, I think, the Niners, the 49ers, the Rams, and the Seahawks probably toughest on anybody. The NFC West is a bruised and bloody division when it's all is said and done. I like that job. It's also an enticing place to play because, Arizona and warm and sunshine.
And just so you know, Will, the Cardinals have a point differential of negative 133, which is the 5th worst in the league.
5th worst. Yeah, not the worst, but not far off.
All right, at number 3, I've got the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Falcons' head coaching position is very attractive because I think they are a good head coach and a good quarterback away from competing. If you look at their overall roster, they have a star running back. They have a star wide receiver. They have a good offensive line, which only allowed 26 sacks this year, which was tied for the 3rd least. They have a good defense that's getting better, a young defense too. The Falcons were 2nd in the league in sacks with 57. They have promising young pieces on defense. They barely allowed 200 yards passing a game. So their defense is stepping it up, and they're an overall young defense. I think they have a lot of young star pieces that they can work off of. They just have to find the right quarterback and the right coach. And if they can do that, I think that they can actually compete for a playoff spot. So I think the Falcons is a very attractive job. They just have to figure out what they're doing with Michael Penix because he's not it. And Kirk O'Chains is 37. So you got to figure that out. But outside of that, I think their overall roster is pretty solid. All right, number 2, who you got, Avery?
All right, at 2, I got the Steelers. Mainly because I just think that's probably the cushiest job around. They've had how many coaches since the 60s? Like 3?
Yes, 3.
It-
And they've never fired. They haven't fired a coach in '69, I think.
Did they just
63,
ask him?
something like that.
"R-
He stepped
Quit.
down on his own.
Quit. I know, but they're like, we're not firing you because that's not our culture. You need to step down. Or
Yeah,
we'll,
basically is what happened.
I don't think we'll ever know that part for sure, but that's
we'll never know, but we know.
We know.
Step
yeah.
down. No, I just think that's a great culture. I think for the most part, I think a lot more teams should adopt that kind of culture of like, look, this is like the new regime. We have trusted them. We have given them money and access to the team. We are going to let them like ride with this for a while. Like there will be some probably bumpy roads, but instead of just swapping it out, I have a best friend. We got in an argument, new best friend. We got in an argument, new best friend. It's like, okay, why don't you like work it out? Why don't you like give it some time? You don't win the Super Bowl every year, no matter what team you are. So like just let it chill. And I think that's part of the reason the Steelers have been as successful as they have been throughout the years. So just for that reason, I think the Steelers job is a pretty sweet job. And I think I would assume they take more consideration, like they're a little more careful than other teams in choosing that because they know that coach is going to stick around for a while.
Okay. All right, Will, who you have it to?
I also have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that Pittsburgh is a good spot. They've got a team built to win. They just made the playoffs. Just won the NFC North, or AFC North, excuse me. That division is very gettable right now. As mentioned, 3 of the 4 teams have open coaching jobs, and the 4th is the Bengals. So who knows what you're going to get there. Somehow Zach Taylor made it out of all of this for now. We'll see what happens. I like the Steelers' position. I don't know. Like you said, it's the cushiest job, right? You know, chances are low you're getting fired. They're going to fire every coordinator around you years before they'll ever fire you as head coach. So, yeah.
All right. I've got their division rival at number 2, the Baltimore Ravens. If you want to be a coach with Super Bowl expectations, this is the team you want because you have 2-time MVP at quarterback in Lamar Jackson and you have Derrick Henry at running back. I mean, how can you not want to be on that team? But if you want to go to a team that you want to build up and that doesn't have Super Bowl expectations, this is not the job that you want because the moment you step in as head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, you are going to be expected to make the playoffs, to win the division, and to compete for the Super Bowl. The AFC North is going to be very winnable because, again, the Steelers don't know what they're doing at quarterback. The Bengals have a terrible defense, and you don't know if Joe Burrow is going to be there. And the Browns are the Browns. All right, Avery, who is your number 1 most attractive head coaching position right now?
The Giants, baby. It's New
I have them
York.
at number 1 too.
I just feel like, dude, that's a spotlight, man. That's, if you're a competitor, if you want to win, if you want that top job, that Alabama job of the NFL, like that's it. High expectations, high spotlight. But also, I think they've got attractive things right now. I mean, I'm assuming all of those guys that are injured will be back next season. Hopefully, they can stop them from getting hurt again the next season. But I just think that is just the premier spot. I think if Jerry Jones wasn't as involved, I think the Dallas Giants, the Cowboys would be the best job. But because Jerry Jones still exists and still plays that same shit, sorry, Dad. I think the Giants are the top spot.
All right, Will, who do you have at 1?
The only team left, the Baltimore Ravens. I think if you're a head coach, you want to win and you think your plan is better than everybody else's. And so why not step into a team that is built to win right now? I think they had an absolute shock of a season this year. 8 wins was well below expectation, but they were right there at the end playing to get into the playoffs. And your kicker misses a kick and your head coach gets fired, right? And so you get a new kicker, maybe get some better pieces. You got pick 14 this year, bring in an extra offensive lineman. Now that one literally never hurt you. More help to get Lamar the ball out of his hands. Maybe another receiver in there. Maybe replace Mark Andrews. Keep Isaiah Likely. Get rid of Mark Andrews, even though you just re-signed him. I just think that this Ravens team is built to win right now. And if you were trying to be a head coach, I heard today in a different podcast that this is kind of the year of the return of head coaches. I think that we could see a strong head coach that is out of the game for now, or maybe a guy who didn't work well somewhere step into Atlanta with a better team, better scenario. Excuse me, not Atlanta. Baltimore with a better team, a better scenario, and then just absolutely crush it in a good way. I like what they've got going on there. I think everything's going to be great for them moving forward. Just take the right coach at this point. I don't think Harbaugh was the wrong coach there. I also heard that his message just got stale, right? You just needed a fresh perspective.
Dude, you stole what I was going to say. I was going to say, in the words of Avery's brother Stater, he was a piece of stale.
Yeah, dog. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to just rip that from your mouth. Harbaugh just got stale. I think Harbaugh will absolutely be a coach somewhere else. I just think that they need to get some fresh eyes, fresh coach in there, and then they'll be probably winning the North next year.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Avery. I think it's the New York Giants. I think the Giants have the most attractive head coaching job right now because you don't have Super Bowl expectations walking in. And so if you don't win, then that's kind of what people are expecting right now anyway. But if you do win, if you put together a roster and you do win, you look super cool because the roster's been bad for a long time. You come with less expectations and you get to build around the pieces that you already have, which I think are great. You've got a young quarterback in Jackson Dart who showed a lot of potential this season. You have rookie running back Cam Scatteraboo. I know he got hurt. You have Malik Neighbors. I know he got hurt too, but you have some really nice pieces on offense to build around. You also have some good pieces on defense to build around, specifically Brian Burns, who had 16.5 sacks this year. You also have last year's number 3 overall pick in Abdul Carter. I know he didn't have a great season, but he's got a lot of potential. So you do have a lot of really good pieces that you can build around. And also Jackson Dart. Why would you not want to coach Jackson Dart? Come on. It's Jackson Dart. All right. So we're running out of time. We're getting very low on time, but let's just give who you think is your top available head coach right now. Avery, we'll start with you. Who do you think is the top available head coach right now?
I'd say John Harbaugh. Like in general, that seems to be the main guy. That's who I would want. Also, I like Robert Saleh. I mean, I think
I do too.
I think with the Jets, I think he did as well as we could have expected. I think he's doing great with the Niners. And I just generally like giving a coach another opportunity at head coach after they've already had whether you call it a failed stint. I feel like every coach has their job was either a failed stint unless they went up to a head coach. If you were a head coach and then you weren't, it was considered a failure, I guess. But I always see it as kind of a learning opportunity, and I like to see those guys get back into it and kind of learn from their mistakes and go again. And I just think Robert just seems to have great energy, and I like his vibe.
Yeah. Also, he was with the Jets, so I don't hold that against him at all. That's the Jets. Nobody does well with the Jets. So absolutely, I agree with you. I think Robert Saleh is one of the top head coaches available. But Will, who do you have as your top head coach available?
I'd like to make an argument that Robert Saleh is not available. He's actively under contract on a team that's still in the playoffs. So I don't have him listed. So I'd like to go ahead
Nerd.
I'd like to go ahead and call for a recount here. So there's that.
Who's your top head coach that will be available?
Sean McDermott. Maybe. No, I don't think he's getting fired. They won the first round. I don't think he's getting fired. I don't know, man. Kurt Signetti. He's getting pulled out. He's getting pulled out of college
to coach the Raiders with
He's
Fernando.
Getting pulled out of Indiana to go to Alabama. They're like, Kalen, get out. Get out. We found Saban reincarnate.
I actually think that, honestly, though, I actually think there's a strong chance, like a legitimate strong chance, that Mario Cristobal is the next coach of the Miami Dolphins. he moves from Hurricane to Dolphins.
No, I don't think so. Only because of his affinity for the Miami Hurricanes. I don't think it has as much to do with the town, like the city. I think it has more to do with the college. And I'm saying that as a coping Oregon fan. I'm like, if you left us for Miami, you better friggin' stay there, dude. Like, because otherwise it was like, oh, I'm leaving because this is my alma mater. And now it's like, actually, it was just because it was a better job. And now I'm going to leave again because I'm just a piece of shit. Sorry, Dad. But he probably agrees. I'm sure he agrees with that.
Anyways, I think for me, I'll go with somebody that you guys haven't mentioned. I think one of the top coaches that are available right now is Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter. I think he's a fantastic coach. He's been the defensive coordinator for the Chargers for the last 2 seasons. And since he's been with the Chargers as a defensive coordinator, the Chargers have ranked first in points per game, allowing 17.7, and ninth in points per game, allowing 20. And they've ranked 11th and 5th in total yards allowed. I think he has come into the Chargers and he's changed their defense. So they've been able to compete the last 2 years. And I know it didn't make a difference for the playoffs, but that's not the defense's fault that they lost that game. 100%
the
on the
Patriots
offense.
to 1 touchdown.
Yes, they held them to 16 points. That's very good. So he's been able to come in and change the defense for the Chargers. Also, before he was the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, he was the defensive coordinator for the Michigan Wolverines when they won the national championship. In 2023, in 2023, he had the best defense in the country, allowing just 10.4 points per game, and they were the best in total yards allowed. And then the year before, in 2022, which was his first year, they were 7th best in points allowed with 16.1, and they allowed the 6th least, total yards per game. So he has been a proven defensive coordinator at the college level. He's now a proven defensive coordinator in the NFL. And I think that he would be a very good head coach, especially if you're a team looking for a defensive head coach. I think that I would go with him.
I put the asterisk there in reference to Jim, not your guy.
I know. All right.
That guy was just an innocent. It was just a Millicent bystander. Sorry,
all right.
It's just a dumb, stupid reference.
Well, that's all we got time for on this episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Please go follow us on all of our social media channels. And as always, guys, don't forget to keep your balls played with. We'll see you next time.
Bye now, y'all. Also, Mark Davis's haircut still sucks.